Motion just brings the whole body, the whole mind, everything together to help the children be successful in school, be successful socially and individually.
It's very simple. It's very basic stuff. Teaching a child how to skip and just some basic fundamental coordination of hands and eyes and footwork has had a tremendous impact on children and their ability to learn.
I always wondered why some children could read proficiently and other children could not read proficiently. And very smart children were struggling in reading, and it has to do with the amount of balance that's in the whole inner ear system.
To know that there's a tool out there that's fun for kids to do, that's not even that time consuming, and makes such a significant difference, I think is very exciting.
These children, the behaviors, they can't attend, they can't pay attention, they can't focus. And so we tend to think of it in terms of, well, it's a bad behavior. How we look at it is, it's physiological. They really can't focus. The eyes aren't focusing. The ears can't filter out all the extraneous information, so it can't pay attention. I can't listen to you and focus on you because there's too much other sensory information coming in.
Well, we all know that children are not as active as they were maybe 20 or 30 years ago. And Minds in Motion really brings that connection of the balancing the brain and bringing that learning into what is needed to learn math and reading and writing skills.
Then you need to give as much stimulation to the inner ear system, which is the vestibular system, and in doing that, it creates better visual processing, better auditory processing, better motor processing, and that builds a more efficient learner.
We are in our cafeteria. We wanted an area where we could have big movement, and so every morning after breakfast we fold up these great tables that have their chairs connected, and we make the course using the tables as dividers.
Well, the maze is made up of different activities. It only takes about 7 to 10 minutes for a class of students to go through the Minds in Motion maze. It does not take extra instructional time away because it is preparing the children to be more focused and more engaged when they're ready to start their instruction.
They're practicing just moving a target back and forth in front of the eyes, going in circles, going concentric circles.
The electric slide, students walk along a wall, and it's to kind of help them determine where they are in space. So they'll stand nose and toes facing the wall and step side to side, side to side. And then halfway they'll flip 180 degrees and they'll have their back to the wall without touching, and they'll step side to side, side to side.
One is the beanbag boogie. I knew children loved beanbags, and I knew if they started throwing and catching beanbags, then their eyes would be tracking and following. So it's not just a matter of throwing a beanbag back and forth. It's a matter of the eyes tracking at the same time that you're throwing a beanbag, at the same time that you're walking in time and space.
Skipping is a activity that causes automaticity of the body, and so by having this, then other tasks that require motor planning are easier for a child to do because they don't have to think first so much what they need to do before they can do it.
So we try to get them to roll in the straightest path as they can, and that means the two inner ear systems are working together more proficiently.
The balance board bash is where students stand on these boards that have kind of a rounded bottom, and this is very important for their vestibular balance and visual and auditory processing.
Beads upon a string to do push-ups for the eyes, to strengthen the focusability of the eyes. If you learn the 15 steps for this development to happen, you can easily implement it in any school, in any center, in any after-school program, in any high school. You can do it.
Who have said, let's explore this and see what happens, and see on its own that it has grown among teachers to me says this is one of the most effective things that we can do, because I'm not up on top saying do this. The principals aren't even on top saying do this.
As a school administrator, I'm always concerned about budget and wondering where my funds are going to come from to implement programs. The great thing about Minds in Motion is it is affordable. It really only costs about $1 per student per year.
Our ultimate mission is improving lives in Elkhart County. And Minds in Motion is a relatively small investment that's turning out to have a great impact, because it not only are schools using it, but preschool or after-school programs are able to use it as well.
I would love to thank United Way of Elkhart County. This is honestly the Minds in Motion capital of the world. It has become through the efforts of United Way and a small group that started listening about Minds in Motion and wanting to implement it into the community as best they could.
The Elkhart County United Way looks at 3 separate areas that we're wanting to impact, and that would be education, health, and income. And so this fits very nicely into the education piece.
Yes, good.
We actually went to an eye doctor last summer, and she was diagnosed with a condition called convergence insufficiency. So what that meant was her eyes weren't working together. So when we found out that Fairfield Schools was offering this program, we're like, well, with our research, if it's very similar to vision therapy, why it wouldn't hurt to try it. I just recently took her to an eye doctor, and he basically told us that we don't need to worry about it anymore, that she has good eye movements.
We have students who are toe walkers that don't walk on their toes anymore. We have autistic students that were doing stimming activities such as hand flapping and rocking, and after a couple months of Minds in Motion, they stopped doing that.
Kids are more well-behaved, more mild-mannered. They're excited about school, they're excited about learning. They seem, even some of them with a short fuse, that's not happening like it used to. They just know how to settle down.
What I have seen is the call for potential. I want every child to function academically as high as they can, every child to function athletically as high as they can, and to be socially fit. And what I honestly have finding, if you stimulate this inner ear and get it firing to the highest degree, you can have an academic child who's athletically prone and socially fit. And that's what I want for every child in America.